for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 22 coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Red Zone Coins. Use code VENOM at checkout for 10% off.
Yo, what's up guys, Venom Fire here, back from the video, and today we're going to be bringing you guys my Kansas City Chiefs gun bunch tight end offensive scheme. So this play in formation, set of plays, I don't know why I said play, but the set of formation is going to come out of only the Kansas City Chiefs playbook. The two plays being this spacing play that you see right there, and this triple out play. Two very unique plays, two plays they added to the bunch tight end formation, and they are playbook exclusive, only in Kansas City. So it's very interesting. We're going to kind of build a scheme around those. And because my bunch tight end video was actually in Ultimate Team, it was a gameplay, I'm going to show you guys all the setups separately, because sometimes in those gameplays you guys don't get to see all of the setups. So this video will also be helpful for that. There is another unique play, but I don't really run this too often. It's going to be the RPO alert bubble you see in the middle there. Not very good because it's so compressed. It's kind of useless, but there still are a couple of other good plays. You still have the curl flat corner in the middle. You still have the mesh, which you guys can't see. PA boot over, X spot, and pretty much, yeah, we'll go over all of those stuff. So we're actually going to start out with PA boot over, which still is the best play. Those new plays are cool, but we're still going to start out with PA boot over because that is definitely the best play in this formation. Before we get into the video, I want to remind you guys to go ahead, go down below, pause the video, stop what you're doing, and hit that subscribe button. 67% of my total viewers are not subscribed to the channel. If that's you, it would be much appreciated if you could go down below and hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me, shows me that you guys are messing with the videos and that you want to continue to see them in the future. So go ahead, hit that sub button, drop a like on this video as well. Also, if you guys could comment, do you like the gameplays or these practice mode videos better? Let me know. I'll try and bring a healthy mix between the two. That's my goal, but yeah, some videos will do better in a gameplay sense, some will do better in a practice mode sense. It really just depends. So we're going to start out with the PA boot over though, going into the offense. The first way to run it is just with a simple delay fade. You delay fade A, you keep the play action, you can roll out. B is wide open, X is wide open, or Y is wide open. Just give yourself a good idea on, or just gives you guys a good simple play design and read. Pretty easy. Usually B or Y will be open. You see whichever one he uses, and you can usually throw it to the other. That was a bad pass lead and bad click on, but the crosser is open there. Not only if you run into a situation where nobody is open, can you roll out, release A, and then throw it over the top just like we did right there, but delay fade will be used in other plays. Delay fade, super good. You want to take advantage of those. If you guys play Madden, you know how good they are in bunch offset, so bunch tight end as well, and it's one of the most underrated things about the offense. So we're going to take it a step further. The next way to actually run this play is to put RB on a little, it's called a out to the left. It's really an in route, but it's an out to the left. Very, very good against man coverage. If you're running man coverage against bunch tight end, this play will be your favorite. If you're facing man coverage, super good against man. The crosser will beat man. This deep post can beat man. This drag will beat man, and then Edwards-Helaire will toast man. Just give yourself so many options. You see there, this is just standard coverage, and he has so much space over there. Really, there's not really a way to defend that. You need either a hard flat, but even then you can throw it a little bit earlier. Super difficult. You almost have to user it. And this just gives the opponent another thing to think about. If he is even hesitant for a second, that crosser will always be open. And even though the stock cover 3 outside third actually does a decent job at defending it, this play is very difficult to stop. I could almost sit there, run this play every single time down the road, and my opponent would probably have a tough time stopping it. I could probably run this 20 plays in a row, and he would still not know how to defend it. So the next step to that is to actually go ahead, put RB on a little out to the right, and then what I like to do is motion over a backside slant. So we're going to go with something like this. This is just another way you get a couple of new routes. You incorporate some motion that could potentially throw off the opponent. You still have your delay fade. So again, just add in some more creativity to the offense. Motion will always help out, and we're actually going to use that similar motion for this triple out play. So it kind of ties in with that as well. Other ways to run the PA boot over, I've seen this little curl flat combo. Something that kind of looks like this. Pretty solid combination. The little curl route's going to be wide open. A lot of times the user's more so going to be focused his attention to that right side of the field. So that will open up things like a curl route pretty decently. They're always going to expect kind of a rollout over here, and you can still throw that across the body. Also, late play broken situations, it gives you the option to either throw the curl and the delay fade. So really 2 options, and he's usually going to focus on the delay fade, meaning that curl should usually be sitting open, and there's no threat of a backside flat defending it because you have a flat route with Tyreek Hill. So very good setup right there. One last max protect setup that you can go to is pretty much the same thing. You just motion over a backside slant instead of the drag. This will just, again, bring the user over. If you're trying to open up either the crosser, this is something you can do. Sometimes you can hit that slant. More so it'd be in situations where he doesn't have extra hook curls in the middle of the field and he pretty much just has his user there. But in this practice mode situation, it's not really the best because of the fact that there's 2 hook curl zones and none of them are user controlled. But again, you can roll out. Sometimes you can hit X deep. Right there, I accidentally crossed the line of scrimmage. Sometimes that'll be deep. It's very situational. It depends on a couple of things. If he's pressed, things of that nature. In this case, the outside third is just playing straight up, so it's not really going to get beat deep. But yeah, that's pretty much it for PA boot over. Again, I am going through the setups relatively quickly. We have a lot of plays. We have a lot of things we talk about, so I don't want to spend, 7 minutes, which we already spent a good amount of time on that PA boot over. We'll talk about the inside zone very briefly. The inside zone is definitely solid. It's something that you want to run. I know a lot of people don't like running the ball because of how easy it is to throw the ball this year, but you do want to incorporate it a healthy amount throughout the game. I would say at least double-digit times you want to run the inside zone if you can. If not, try to run it like 7, 8 times. Definitely can be solid. Every 1st and 10, throw it in there. If you find yourself getting pass happy, you're throwing the ball a lot, that's a good time to mix in the run, especially if he were to spread his defensive line or he's in a dollar type of a formation. You can kind of take advantage of that. Also, my favorite way to run the inside zone is to motion this guy out. You see it motions out the linebacker. If Singleton would have been blocked there, then it would have opened up a big hole. So again, I like to motion to Reek out, especially if man coverage. Now you see Singleton should get blocked, or I guess Hardman doesn't want to block now, but trust me, that's the best way to do it, especially in the goal line. All right, going into one of the newer plays in the actual offense, we're going to be talking about the spacing play. Now, this play is pretty interesting. You see, it's one of my favorite quick snap plays. You can kind of tell that based upon the play art. Looking at our play art, we got a nice little table route. Table route's very good this year against zone. They also do kind of get open against man coverage if you can have the correct timing with it. Other routes, we got 2 baby hitches. This one is the inside hitch and then a flat. Kelsey's route's interesting. I don't like Kelsey's route. If I just run the stock, you'll see why he's going to run out and kind of stop there. It's not my favorite, and it just takes him a little bit further to develop. It can be good, but this is a play that you want to run against zone blitz type concepts, or you're in 4th downs, someone's likely to send heat at you. You just kind of want to step up, make a read. Right there, we got X, A. You can run it stock. It can be good. If it's man coverage, it's definitely not my favorite, because man coverage does a pretty good job of sitting on these types of routes this year. And also, if it's man coverage, Kelsey will run an out route because he's on a choice concept instead of sitting in that little hitch spot. One thing I do is I can throw him on a little curl route. I have no problem doing that. It does create a little bit of congestion. You see with A, Y, and X, they're all in the same area. That's something that you can do. Another thing that you can do, depending on if you have tight end apprentice, which we'll go into some of those setups, another thing I can do is throw them on a deeper type of an out route, something like this, just to create more of a flood concept. Those out routes can get open, but be careful. Like I did there, they're not corner routes, so those 5-yard curl flats can lurk them. But overall, the best way to do it is with something like a tight end apprentice. If you have that, I would go with a setup probably kind of like this, where I could either, create a nice spacing going with something like this. I could go ahead, streak Y, hitch X, something like this. So you give yourself, a couple of options in that standpoint. If you can put your tight end on a post route, not many people have this ability right now, depending on the time of watching this video. But if you have Hot Route Master, that's setup that I like to go to. But overall, the best way to do it, you could go with a quick snap type setup. I could also just streak A. The seams are pretty solid this year. Sometimes you can streak those open, especially if they only have one user. They don't have an extra hook curl. If they did have an extra hook curl, it's probably sitting on this left side, so the little streak route can get open. Again, flat route, very solid. You're guaranteed 3+ yards on this, and usually around 5+ yards with those passes, especially with people playing their zone jobs higher and higher. and not double flatting this year. So overall spacing is definitely a solid play, and it is one of the cooler things because it's very playbook exclusive. All right, and that's going to carry us over to the last playbook exclusive play of the 3. We're only going to talk about the 2 because the RPO, again, I don't run it, so I'm not going to talk about it. That's how we roll over here, but going to be talking about the triple out. This is probably my favorite play in terms of creative potential, just because you have a lot of unique routes. And mainly Tyreek Hill's route is what I'm talking about. You have an out route, you have a deep route, and then you have an in route. So mainly we're talking about Tyreek Hill, and he's who we're going to be building around. So just if I run this stock against cover 3 with a little streak, because you of course would want to clear out, you see how deep Reek is going to throw. It almost makes it useless because his corner out just does not break fast enough, so he can't really get open. Cover 2 is certainly a different story. He will torch cover 2, which we're unfortunately not in. Potentially can beat man coverage, potentially can beat quarters for one-play touchdowns as well. But against cover 3, which is the meta, most people will come in cover 3 bases. Not going to be the best play, so we're going to show you the different things you can do. First thing that you can do is I can set up something like this, and then what I can actually do is motion Tyreek Hill over. So I can kind of motion him out. I would snap it around here, and you see how he kind of breaks, he can kind of sit in that spot. You see how even though I snapped him so late, I almost have to motion him out completely. And also something I'm doing with this play, if you have not noticed, is I am smart routing. So I've noticed that if I can motion him pretty much all the way over, he's as far as he can get. Sometimes he can break over there and get open. So that's something I noticed. You can do whatever you want with that type of a setup. But mainly what we're going to do out of this play is we are going to turn his deeper corner out into a deeper post route, which can be super nice because in the PA boot over in bunch tight end, there's one weakness per se, and it's going to be the fact that you don't have deep posts from that other side. So you can turn it into something, and then you can see setups like this transpire where I can go with A on a post, Y on a slant, X on a hitch route, and then I have that deeper post. If it's man coverage, this play is absolutely killer. Even if it's zone coverage, it's killer as well. So you got slants, you got out routes, you got posts, you have deeper posts, and then even a late check down with the hitch. So you just give yourself so many options. Let's say you do not have tight end apprentice, which I know a lot of you guys do not have tight end apprentice ability. What can you do? You can streak Kelsey. I can drag Kelsey. I can go with something like this where we slant, we put X on a curl, we put RB on that out route, or I block RB. I slant Y, drag A, curl X, and I still have that deep post. This setup would not be the worst thing in the world. Little curl route sitting in the middle of the field. So you can give yourself some options from that standpoint. Again, some other ideas out of the motion concept is with a little wheel route. You could potentially keep that deeper in route, drag Y, hitch X still. Something like this could work as well. So you're just giving yourself, a lot of options. Again, you can get a lot more creative than we're showing. Another creative idea I had is a little flood concept. So you're just going to motion over. You can kind of keep these guys the same, but I could put Kelsey on a little curl route. I could put Edwards-Helaire still on his wheel route, something like this. So you see just how creative you can kind of get. It just creates a lot of new spacing concepts. Again, this concept, the wheel route gets wide open, but practice mode is a little bit difficult because those hook curls are there, which in normal games usually not there, but it would be simple to beat them, which I could easily take away by just doing something like this with 2 little option routes. I could streak A or streak Y, just run literally something basic like this. If it was like a game-like situation, you see the hitch would be sitting wide open, but that's kind of besides the point. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it for my setups. I gave you guys a lot of ideas for this play. You can do a lot of different things, a lot of cool things out of this particular setup, but I do want to hop into some of those other plays. I don't have as many setups for those, but I will mention them just a little bit. All right, we do have a new set of 4 different plays. Now, one of the weaknesses, probably the biggest weakness of this offense, is not having the inside switch play, which is pretty valuable. Not super valuable this year. You don't see too many people just saying they're running inside switch, not as good as last year, but it can be a threat and you can create some cool things out of that play. I'm actually going to start us off by running the RPO alert bubble, which I said I wasn't going to run because I didn't run it, but I'll show it briefly what it looks like. You can see it might not be the best because of how slow the users are. It might honestly just work this year. I'm not sure if I can motion out. You see if I motion out, you can't really do it because of the hitch route, so you do kind of got to leave this guy in his spot. It's also a quicker handoff, so you have to make your decision quicker. If it's zone coverage, though, you're more than able to snap, throw it to Tyreek Hill, get him to the outside. Again, those bubble screens just not as good either, just because of the wide receivers struggling to block and how slow the players are upon the timing of the catch. So again, you're probably better to run the inside zone, get those guys blocking upfield, give you more big play potential. But next play is going to be X spot. This play is nice mainly because of Kelsey's route. Setups I like out of this play are going to be something like this. Be on a slant. You can either block RB or throw them on like a little out route. You're going to streak Y, and then I like to motion out the spot route, snap it over here. You know, again, just a solid play. Kelsey's route really is super nice. Now it takes a long time to develop. That route's also very good against man coverage, but his route does take a while to develop, so you're going to need a little bit of timing, which is why I gave the idea to block Edwards-Helaire here. I could actually leave that corner out really if I wanted to. This corner out does not necessarily get in the way. It honestly just spaces the floor or the field a little bit more. But you see Kelsey's route just seems to take such a long time that this play is not as good as it once was. I could also, of course, kind of run it stock. Just block my running back. You have that post route. You have your streak. You have your baby slant with Tyreek Hill. So I could run it like this if I really wanted to. But again, that post route just takes so long this year. And with the pocket sometimes breaking down, probably not the best play on the planet. The next play we will talk about is going to be mesh. Mesh, I have an interesting kind of setup for this play. What I like to do out of this is just to streak Y and streak B. It looks weird from here, but you're just going to motion Tyreek Hill over. With the seams being super good this year, there's not too many opportunities to break open the seams out of bunch tight end. This is one way I found out how to do it. To also add on to this play, you can wheel RB. But overall, I mean, just spaces the field a little bit. Against cover 3, you can really get these guys open, just a little bit. There you see just Tyreek Hill splitting the seams. That's with 2 hook curls on the field, not controlled by anybody. One guy, he's likely to probably follow Kelsey on the drag, which you can bet one of those guys will be open. So again, just a cool little route combination. You throw in 1-2 times a game, and you can catch people off guard with it, I've noticed. So this wheel route does help with spacing those outside guys a little bit and opening things up. But again, late play situations, you give yourself drag, corner route, and overall just a basic but very effective route combination. Last but not least, we have curl flat corner. This play is not my favorite, but this corner route can be solid in situations. Usually you kind of want to roll out here. It's nice how it breaks. You see how it can potentially also open up a cover 3 beater, which the outside third will bite on that corner out, and it should be able to open up some of those things. Now, the biggest problem I've had with this is what I do with Kelsey. I can drag him if I wanted to. I could go back to the seam streak combination. I could also go with something like this if I really wanted to, or I could put Tyreek on the drag, put Kelsey on the in route. But, I mean, you do have options. You see the streak, it doesn't really work. It kind of gives you the illusion that it's going to be open, but the outside third does a good job of baiting you into throwing that, which would probably be an interception on most occasions, unless you had like Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. But again, just solid plays. You can also kind of turn these guys into post routes, really, if you had to. This setup is not going to be the worst thing in the world. You get post, you get a slant, you get a flat, and you get a baby hitch here. So again, just some cool new route combinations you can add to your arsenal that I probably didn't show in my gameplay. But that is pretty much going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed, drop a big thumbs up on the video. Once again, subscribe to the channel down below. Follow my links in the description as well. And peace. I'm out of here.